Good afternoon and welcome back to the West Ham Network. It's me, Anton, bringing you our West Ham Daily for today. How you all keeping? Hope you're keeping safe. Have we all recovered from the weekend? The not great result against our one of our rivals, one of our weak rivals, one of them that team that don't win much, and we don't talk about them much, to be honest. Their cup final, though, they won their cup final for the year, so congratulations to them. But the battle for the top four continues. West Ham are still in with a shout, or the top six, or whatever you want to call it. We're in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. And yeah, positivity is there. There's things to look forward to. It's funny, the defeat to Tottenham, as much as it was disappointing and really crap and kind of just like it was like a kind of pin in the balloon moment. I kind of got over it pretty quickly because of the euphoria and excitement of the Europa League and the fact that we're going to be in a couple of weeks' time playing Lyon in the quarterfinals, two-legged quarterfinals. And we have a real good chance, and we all know that West Ham turn up with the right West Ham attitude, then we are going to be taking the game to anyone that we come across. And at that point, I start to not fear anyone, and I really do. It's not getting into a dangerous point of view. It's not getting into that kind of dangerous point of view, but I really do start to fear or don't fear opposition teams. And I feel like the bigger they come, the harder they fall. Put your best players out there. We all know what you're capable of doing. Lyon haven't had a fantastic season so far in Ligue 1, but at the end of the day, they are still a quality side. We all know the strengths that they've got, but we all know the strengths that we've got. And of course, Russ brought to you yesterday the news about Jared Bowen, which isn't great, but Moyes seems to take these things in his stride, and it's not ideal. We haven't got strength and depth, but he does take these things in his stride. And what I mean by that is, he always looks past the crap and tries to take the positives from a situation. He does have faith in a really small number of the squad, but if we've got 14 firing on all cylinders, then so be it. And that's what we need to rely heavily on. We need to pray and hope that Bowen can come back fitter sooner rather than later to help the kind of run in to the end of the season. It would be fantastic if he could be fit for that quarterfinal, but we will have to wait and see what happens and what the announcement is made regarding Jared Bowen. But we've got things there. And it just shows you how important this summer is going to be. Let me jump into the chat and see who is kicking about. Please put the comments in because I will jump through them as we usually do. Mark Alexander, good afternoon. Hope you are well. Crosshammers in the house. Afternoon, one and all. We did ask, have you all recovered yet? And you've said not entirely. Bozo Zoko, hello, hope you're well, mate, and thank you very much for joining us. Andrew, West Ham till I die, Faulkner, Afternoon Hammers and Hammerette, Sludders is in the house. Are you okay? Are you keeping well? Hasn't hurt much, half expected it, yeah. Barca have hit a purple patch. They have. They really, really have. Gaza, afternoon all. I'm good, thank you. I hope you are as well. All the other clubs are our rivals, not only Spurs. That's true. Everyone is. It's just all about West Ham, isn't it? That's exactly what it's all about. Lovely to see you all talking to each other. I've heard it's not looking good for Bowen. Hope this is not true. We're led to believe that there is maybe a broken bone in his foot. But again, we don't like to tell you things we don't actually physically know. But we will wait and see. But let me get into today's show. Before I do, I want you to, if you're new around here, please go and hit that subscribe button. We're on the march to 20,000 subscribers. Hit the thumbs up as well. That lets us know and pushes our video into the algorithms. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, you can click the join option on the membership program, and that will let you know also what we offer in the tiered process. But today's daily is about West Ham and that man, Kalvin Phillips, because he is at the centre of widespread transfer speculation. And West Ham are reportedly lining up a fresh move to lure Kalvin Phillips to East London from Leeds United this summer. Now, we are reportedly keen to sign the midfielder in the coming months and are willing to table a bid worth in excess of £50 million to secure a deal. Now, a few things can change over the next few months. Leeds United's relegation battle could be key. If they were to go down, what would that do to the value of the player? And this comes in the back of the fact that West Ham have been linked to Phillips previously, and we were touted to move for him in the latter stages of the January transfer window, apparently alongside Rafinha, when we supposedly bid upwards of £50 million for him in the famous phantom bid saga. Ultimately, that reported interest failed to materialise into any kind of agreement. But with David Moyes and his side eager to establish ourselves as one of the Premier League's biggest hitters, it is understood that we could reignite our pursuit of the England international. So West Ham's cause has seemingly been spurred on by the fact that Leeds have failed to agree a contract extension with their talisman. And I'll talk about how when Kalvin Phillips extends his contracts with Leeds, because you'll see it in a second when I go through it. But Phillips, whose current deal at Elland Road, has 2 years left to run. And this could, but equally, this could be said contradictorily about the Declan Rice saga as well. But, you know, we are the quarterfinalists of the Europa League, and we're apparently, according to rumours and reports, willing to offer the 26-year-old an enormous wage packet as we look to prize him away from his boyhood club. But by doing this, we'd have to align our current crop of players and bring their salaries in line with others, players like, you know, Declan Rice. And when you look at the comparison of what Yarmolenko earns, etc. But we'll get into what Kalvin Phillips earns moving forward. But reports are suggesting that Leeds do value him at somewhere in the region of 60 to 70 million quid, considerably more than what West Ham have got in their figure, and considerably more than what West Ham and many other clubs are going to be paying for the player of the quality of Kalvin Phillips. And that's not me underestimating what he's capable of doing. He's 3 years older than Declan Rice, and he's a phenomenal, fantastic, great player, and he really does. And I could see why West Ham would be looking at him, because again, it would be another statement of intent signing. But over the weekend, other reports broke that Aston Villa had emerged as front runners to sign the player this summer, with apparently a £60 million bid in the pipeline and another enormous salary offer touted by them. You know, they were reported to be the front runners ahead of West Ham and even Newcastle in the pursuit of Phillips. While any potential move to Manchester United has been totally discredited as impossible because of the fierce rivalry between Leeds and Manchester United. But whether Leeds would be willing to sell Phillips at any price this summer remains to be seen. Although they do have a new manager, Jesse Marsh has stated quite clearly that he intends to hold on to the midfielder for as long as he possibly can. Speaking recently, the American did say, I haven't spoken about long-term futures with everyone. It's all about the present and living in the moment now. And those conversations come down the road. I'd love to keep guys like Kalvin Phillips, and he talks about other Leeds United players here as long as possible. But let's take a look, right, at Kalvin Phillips' history and what he could really bring to West Ham. So he played for his local club, Wortley, from 2003 to 2010 before joining Leeds United's academy aged 14. He progressed through the club's youth ranks and signed his first professional deal with the club in the summer of 2014. During the 2014-15 season, Phillips became the captain of the development and under-18 teams. He joined the first team for the trip to Sunderland in the FA Cup third round in January 2015, and he was an unused substitute. But he made further appearances on the bench for the first team in league matches over the following months before making his professional debut against Wolves in a defeat in April 2015. And in April 2015, he retained his position in the Leeds starting 11, making his home debut against Cardiff at Elland Road. He marked the match with his first senior goal and only his second appearance for the club, although the match finished in a 2-1 defeat to Cardiff. At the end of the season, he was offered and accepted a new 2-year contract. In June of that year, he then signed a further 3-year contract extension to stay at the club until the summer of 2019. He established himself as an important player in Leeds' central midfield, and he was very impressive form for Leeds, which saw him win the Championship Young Player of the Month award in October 2016. In the 17-18 season, Phillips ended the season with 7 goals and 3 assists, which represented the best scoring season of his career so far. But this is where you see a big change come into play, because he's switched from managers now. He's gone from Gary Monk, and I think it was Bielsa next. And as soon as Bielsa came in, he was playing in a deep central midfield role. He was utilised as a deep-lying defensive midfielder for Leeds under Bielsa, playing as a centre-back sometimes if the team lined up in a 3-man defence. In October 2018, his impressive form in his new positions under Bielsa's management saw him briefly linked with a possible call-up to Gareth Southgate's England national team. And in March 2019, he was selected in the 2018-19 Championship Team of the Season. In May 2019, he was named in the Yorkshire Evening Post Player of the Year 2018-19 season. And in September of that year, he signed a new 5-year contract with Leeds United again. So they're constantly keeping him and signing him up to new contract after new contract after new contract. September 2020, he was named the professional PFA 2019-20 Championship Team of the Season. And after starting his career as a box-to-box or central midfielder. He was converted into a defensive midfielder by Bielsa before the start of the 2018-19 season. He is known for his range of short, sharp passing, long ball distribution, his ability to start attacks while covering his defensive duties. With him, he is phenomenal at doing that. Bielsa even described his talent as he's good at getting the ball and putting it into another space, a better space. He's very good when he has to cover the team when the fullbacks go on the attack, and when they are outnumbered, he is very good with defending. And Phillips is also covered and converted into a centre-back under Bielsa when he was needed. From a similar style of play, Phillips has been given the nickname the Yorkshire Pirlo by Leeds fans in homage to Andrea Pirlo. Following his performance for England against Croatia in Euro 2020, he was described as brilliant at finding little pockets of space that turned a simple passing move into a dangerous attack. When Bielsa was with Leeds throughout his managerial career, he's always preferring playing like a kind of 4-1 formation where Kalvin Phillips plays his role as a central defensive midfielder, staying as a pivot in front of the two centre-backs. When opponents have the ball, Phillips acts as a shield ahead of two centre-backs. And in most matches, he has the freedom of kind of man marking, you could say. Sometimes he's also seen marking a key player of the opponent. The major role he has to contribute to is when not in possession is to make the opposition's passing extremely congested by covering as much of the area as possible. He knows and he reads the land really well. He knows the lay of the land of a football park. His high work rate, his immense physicality allows him to play full 90 minutes with the same rhythm, covering the maximum possible ground area. And that's why he's regarded as the engine of Leeds United's midfield. Leeds tend to build from the back. They switch their formation according to opponents' formation. So, for example, if opponents play with one centre forward, Leeds would stick with two centre backs. But when opponents play with two centre forwards, they play with three centre backs. And sometimes he would occupy that position. And when Leeds play with two centre backs in the initial build-up phase, Phillips usually positions himself in front of them and creates that kind of diamond shape with the goalkeeper. And for this diamond shape, every ball carrier has lots of passing options in front of them. Therefore, they can comfortably progress the ball forward, beating opponents, pressing. We see that from our current team now. But, Phillips does have that ability and consistently likes to sit and doesn't really tend to move from there, offering that, extra support, extra shield in front of our defence. Leeds is a team that do like to keep the ball in possession of their control. Hence, whenever they lose the ball, they try to regain possession as quickly as they possibly can with a high intensity of pressing. And we saw that when they played us at the London Stadium. They do keep ball possession in their control, but Phillips is a key player. He's a key player to what Leeds have done, what Bielsa's done at Leeds, and I know he's gone now, and also making the transformation and transition up to the England international setup. Phillips hasn't played in the Premier League, though, since December as a result of a hamstring injury. And like I said, he is under contract until June 2024. And strengthening in that department, maybe West Ham fans might be saying, why would he be looking to strengthen in there? We've got Declan Rice, we've got Tommy Soucek, and we've got Kroll, who's not really featured much. Noble's going to be retiring at the end of the season. Lanzini can play a bit of a deeper role. But we are talking about a top-notch player, and we are talking about a player that we now know that West Ham have got a genuine interest in. And it looks like he's potentially going to be one of the number one targets moving forward. So with the likes of Villa chasing Kalvin, they're leaving no stone unturned whatsoever here. In addition to the transfer fee, the rumor is they're willing to offer him some crazy money a week. You're talking like upwards of the high hundreds of grands a week, like nearly high 190. And that would make him by far, by a million miles, one of the highest earners. Sorry, the highest earner by a substantial amount. I think nearly 70 grand on top of like the players like Danny Ings, etc. Furthermore, though, reports are suggesting that Phillips is ought to be only earning about $4.5 grand a week right now. So that's a contract that he signed when he was with Leeds and when they were in the Championship. So, the eye-watering, crazy fold of money increase, which is on the cards for a player of his quality, is definitely going to be eye-catching for a player like Kalvin Phillips. And he did show his class in European stage last summer, earning his place in, many people's 2020 team of the tournament alongside other players, well high thought of players in the league. But it's a little wonder why teams like West Ham and Aston Villa are willing to obliviate our transfer fee to bring in a player of his quality. It's not, to me, it wouldn't be the top priority signing that we should be looking at when it comes to the likes of Kalvin Phillips, and we should need to be looking elsewhere. However, there's obviously some reason why. I don't think it's because anything to do with the Declan Rice scenario. I just genuinely believe that Moyes looks at the quality of the player and what he can offer. And the thing is with Kalvin Phillips is we know he's got a history of actually getting forward and he can score goals. It was just under Bielsa, he become that defensively minded player. Now you add Declan Rice, you add Kalvin Phillips, you add Tommy Soucek to a squad. You've got strength and depth and potentially three of the best central midfielders who can protect that back line. And then you've got the freedom to give, like, you've got really utter freedom for Declan Rice to get forward to try and score goals, Tommy Soucek to get further forward to score goals, and really you're building a strong side. Getting players of the quality of Kalvin Phillips, who's 26 years old, he's in the prime, he's at the right age that fits the system of what Moyes is looking for me, would be a good deal. We are interested in Kalvin Phillips. There's no ifs or buts about it. We put in the bids, whether you believe they're phantom bids or not. We've got a genuine interest here, but it's just now a case of trying to work out, would we bring him in, and how much for, and would he leave? And it all depends on Leeds United's Premier League status this year. But with only 2 seasons to go, yes, he's born and bred in Leeds, but then you've got to weigh up, where do West Ham lie in comparison to Leeds? Now, I'm not trying, I don't want to sit here and start making comparisons between the clubs, but West Ham do, and the trajectory of West Ham is looking up the way, and the trajectory of Leeds is kind of there and dropping down the way. And the future, in theory, as an outsider looking in West Ham with a small squad, does look reasonably bright if we can maintain this form, if we can get through to the semi-finals of the Europa League, and we can try and challenge that top 4 for the consecutive season. Then any outsourced player, anyone from outside looking in, would be like, well, I believe in what David Moyes is building at this club, and why would you not want to come? Why would you not want to come? So it is interesting to see. I mean, if he's only earning $4,500 a week, and West Ham are going to bring him in and make him one of the highest earners. Now, you're hearing rumours of $190K a week at Villa. Villa are going to be spending money left, right, and centre. But why would you go to Villa and not come to West Ham? What's the difference? For me, I'm trying to take my rose-tinted West Ham glasses off and look at a player like Kalvin Phillips and think, would he add value to our squad? And the question I'll ask to you is, would Kalvin Phillips add value to the squad for West Ham? Get your comments in, and I'll jump through them just now as well. So many comments, but I love it. It's good to see. Where are we? I'm jumping up here. Boxing Observer, Barca just won the El Clasico 4-0. They did. Toby Irons got the sod and Rona. Oh, no way. Hope you're okay, mate. Hope you're keeping well. I had it a couple of weeks ago, mate. It felt like I personally, my circumstances, it felt like I had hay fever. So I was all right. But I hope you're okay, mate. Mark Alexander says, do you think Bowen, no back date? Is Moyes not giving away anything to other teams? Could be, mate. He's smoking mirrors. He does it all the time. Let's just hope it's not as serious as it's maybe that people are alluding to, and let's hope it's not. But I mean, if there is a fracture or a bone break, or it could be like a metatarsal or something like that. I mean, I thought it was initially it was an impact injury, and I felt like it was the back of his heel. And if it is an impact injury and it's the back of his heel, I think the heel takes longer to heal than, say, your metatarsal in the front of your foot. So it'll be interesting to see what actually transpires from that. Hope this Bowen scenario isn't going to end up like Ashton did. Ludders, I've not even thought of that. Don't even bring that up. Oh my God. Bozosuku, he's been injured all season. Why would we want to spend that much money on him? But listen, it's a hamstring injury. He's literally on his way back. But we can't deny, mate, that he is top notch. He is top notch, and West Ham have had a strong key eye on him as much as they can. Would prefer Kamara if we could get him. Garino says, flying over to the UK for the first time in 18 months tomorrow. Pie and mash, here we come. Good on you, Garino. Good. So, Garino, remind me, where is it you stay and all that sort of stuff? Let me know. And what's your plans when you're here? If it's a case of replacing Rice, I hope not. But to play alongside, wow. And I don't think it is to replace Rice, mate. I really don't think it is. I think it is. It would be interesting. David is saying Phillips to West Ham. This is Madison going to Villa for 60 million. If he leaves Leeds, it will be a top 6 club. Our biggest signing will be retaining Rice. I agree with you, but I don't think Phillips or Rice will be heading to the top 6, mate. I really don't. I think the only club you could really now realistically put into that situation would be Manchester City. But, come the summer, with only 4 or 5 months to go until the World Cup, I don't see these players, I don't see Declan Rice leaving West Ham, but I can see Phillips leaving because he needs to progress his career. And if Leeds are sitting in the relegation zone with only 2 seasons to go, he's going to look at the building process. And will this new manager come in and do a job that what Leeds want to do? Will that send their trajectory the opposite way and keep going down the way? And will he want to be there as part of that? Toby Sampson, wrong positions to focus on. If we sign Phillips, it will be to appease Rice going elsewhere. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Bonnie says fake news. Rosatin from The Athletic told us he could not verify the supposed January bid from Phillips. Why believe it now when the club pretended we bid for him in January? Well, yes, that's true, and that is true. But we do, after Rosatin came on our show and said it on our show, we still are led to believe that West Ham have bid, and this is why I did, when you watch the show back, phantom bids, in quotation marks, phantom bids, why West Ham. But he would add value to our squad. That's the key question. He really would. And you could put him alongside the players like Declan Rice. Wow, it would be phenomenal. Whether or not it's true, we don't know. Yes, they did, mate. They did. Dan James went from Man United. But to be fair, mate, I think Leeds paid quite a good amount of money for him and he wasn't doing the job at Man United. So I think it was a no-brainer for them. I think that worked out in favour of Manchester United, Toby. Garino, didn't think you had tried them his first visit. Feel guilty now for trying to get you to eat them. Garino, not sure about any bid for Phillips. Sounds like more smoke and mirrors, as I can't see us spending 60 million in that position when we need a striker or two. Nice to have a 2-week break from football. Hopefully we'll come back stronger and rested. We absolutely need to, mate. Mark says, I can see us getting 2 big signings. Not sure money on a David Moyes is what we need. Defensive midfield is what we need. Left winger and striker is what we are crying out for. I've said this since the start, Mark. I think you can look at players like maybe all the free transfers. I think we may bring in 2 or 3 free transfers because I think it's worked out in West Ham's favour. You may see Tarkowski come in. You may see Kaleta Carr come in. You may see Lingard come in. Alphonse Areola re-signing on a loan deal. And bang, you've not spent any money yet. Yeah, you are paying weekly fees, but you've not spent any money. But you've bought 4 new players into the club that are going to add value. That's why I can see us spending money on players like Rafinha, on Phillips, on a striker, that can add value to the squad. Because as we all know, this is the summer. This is the summer that's going to be the key for West Ham to progress again. Because we can't go for another season with a thin squad. Absolutely not. Yes, Antonio will get a rest because Jamaica didn't select him, apparently. It looks like Jamaica are keeping a lot of their players who have been selected for the squad in the kind of local area, America, Jamaica, people that are home-based. So a lot of players aren't traveling for that, so that's going to be absolutely fantastic. May as well only have 4 people on the bench as Moyes won't play most who sit on it. Absolutely, mate. Oz, good to see you, mate. Tavarsky, Kalvin Phillips, average player, sufficient from mid-table onwards. Richard, hope you're well, mate. Good to see you. Love Rafinha from Leeds. And this is the thing, though. This is going to be the thing. What happens with Leeds moving forward? Where's Rafinha's head going to be at? Does he want to progress as a club? Will he be looking at someone like West Ham? Does he see West Ham as progression? Does Phillips see West Ham as progression? Difference between Rafinha and difference between Phillips is born and bred in Leeds and loves the club, boyhood club, been there through the academy, through the ranks, through the whole time. Mark Alexander, Meilier would be a first pick from Leeds. He's a great young goalkeeper, absolutely. Garino saying, hope Moyes gives Okaflex the opportunity as left-wing option. Guy has pace, is tricky and can finish. You never know. See what next season's going to be in hold for us. I'd rather go for Kamara from Marseille as his contract expires in the summer. Absolutely. Ludders is saying, come on, 48 people watching. Only 12 likes. Get those thumbs up if you love West Ham. There's actually 70 people watching. So get yourself on there and hit that thumbs up. Please, that would be massive. Peter, Okaflex should have had some game time to make him think he is wanted. But listen, Peter, the difference between Okaflex not playing compared to, say, the likes of Nathan Holland not playing is different because Okaflex only came in the summer where Nathan Holland's been with West Ham a longer time. Connor Coventry's been with West Ham a longer time. So there is a big difference for me. So I think Okaflex is happy to be in the position he's in. Moyes will be managing the situation. He'll be like, listen, I can see what you're doing. You'll get your chance. Don't you worry. Pre-season is going to be huge for Okaflex. So I think we've got a bright future with Okaflex and we'll maybe start to see the transition of him over the pre-season, and if he can hack it in pre-season, show Moyes that he is capable of making the step up, you may see a little bit more of him next year, or maybe even before that. Depends on how the season pans out. Kamara will have his choice of bigger clubs than us. Mark Alexander says, Okaflex has a lot to learn from what I've seen. Greedy and poor decisions, can't throw him in, but he will learn and gradually given game time. Absolutely. We're not paying anyone 170k a week, not even Declan. It costs chaos. If we can't afford it, then we'll probably need 6 to 7 players. No, I agree with you on that. But what we do and what we will need to do is bring players' contracts in line with other ones. So we can't have Yarmolenko as the highest earner, earning 110k a week, and Declan Rice being so far back as our best player, Tommy Suchek being so far back as our best player, questionably our best players. So you need to bring players in line with what the salary expectations are. And if we are going to be offering new contracts to these players, they have to be in line with what the kind of going rate is. Now, I'm not saying we're paying 170k a week. I'm just talking about what Aston Villa are willing to offer. But Aston Villa are now starting to remind me of maybe a little bit. And listen, I don't want to, but a little bit like, you know, the Leeds of old when they bought their success and for one season had a great season, and then the trajectory dropped down. And, you know, during the likes of Mark Viduka, when they were just signing players, Danny Mills, just signing players, offering them big contracts, big money, spending money, not having as much coming in, and the business sense, it didn't make sense. So I don't doubt for a second West Ham won't be offering players like Kalvin Phillips 190k a week. Absolutely not. So don't worry about that. I'm not saying that either. If the dream happens and we win the Europa League, what do you think the possibility of Dick staying long term is? See, I'll be honest with you, Richard, mate. I would be really shocked if he left in the summer again, because it's a big risk for a player to leave with only 3 or 4 months to go over World Cup. If he went to, say, the likes of Man City and he didn't play, look at Jack Grealish, what does that mean for Declan Rice's career? I don't doubt for a second he will, and he would play for most of the best teams in the world, but I think it's too risky for a player like Deckers, to be honest. I think the time to really watch Declan and West Ham progress is going to be the January winter window after the World Cup. Because if West Ham haven't signed players, haven't progressed as a club, and then Deckers has a great competition, bang, that's when we really, really, really need to watch. And that's where West Ham will have a 1.5 years left in his contract if we haven't signed him on a new contract by that point. And, you know, we could be open to big offers, because when a year to go, it's just not going to happen if we don't sign him on a contract, and he probably will go as well. Struggle to finish above 7th due to lack of signings in the last 2 windows, which will cost us. Kamara has been linked with everyone, but all seems to be coming from his agent, fishing for a move offer. Can see him ending up Europa League level club rather than elite club, to be honest. Nosebleed seats on sale tomorrow for Leon. Yep, seen that, absolutely. Mark Alexander, goalkeeper, left back, centre back, left wing, attacking midfielder, striker, 4 free signings, 2 big. Bless me, 2 big money signings to promote youth. Coventry, Okaflex, Ashby will join me later on for the Hammers headlines to talk about Connor Coventry as well. But yeah, no, I agree with that. I think Areola will come in as the goalkeeper. Centre back could be Tarkowski. Left wing and attacking midfielder, and we may get another centre back in Coletta Carr, who can play as a left back as well. So that could be your 2 central defenders, and goalkeeper sorted, all for free. Attacking midfielder, Lingard, free. Striker, don't know. We'll see what happens there. 4 free signings, 2 big money signings. Promote youth. It's a good shout. Peter saying Phillips wouldn't add much. Would you take anyone from Everton? They're in real danger with Fat Frank in charge. Absolutely, mate. I mean, you know what? Players that go under the radar at Everton are players like Andres Townsend. I know he doesn't fit the age group, but, you know, he comes up with corkers every season. He kind of averages about 4 or 5 goals a season. He does do a lot of work for the team. But, I mean, Richarlison, I mean, they've got talent within that squad. I think there's players there that West Ham could look at and mould within our squad. I'm not saying we go for Andres Townsend. I'm just talking about how, you know, you can find little diamonds in the rough there as well. Calvert-Lewin is a player that apparently we were linked to in the past, so that could happen as well. I would take DCL if he was available. Calvert-Lewin, yep, absolutely. Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, good replacement for Noble or Kroll. Anyone else worried that Moyes won't increase the team enough in the summer to help us get to the next level? Luthers, I tell you something now. If he doesn't, I do fear for next season, because I don't know if we can go for a 3rd season with a really small squad. I don't want us to have a crazily large squad. I just want us to have even more quality. So right now he's got the faith in maybe 14 or 15 players. I want him to have the faith in maybe 18 or 19 players, or even 20 players, really strong competitive players in there. And that's why I think this window is going to be so key, especially with the free signings we could possibly bring in. David is saying if we can keep Rice, Souček, then big money on a midfielder is a waste. Would fancy an offer for Bears at Sheffield United if they don't come back up, and Rice, Souček, and give Coventry the 4th spot. Garino, Anton, I'm in Italy, but no COVID test restrictions on flights now, so much easier to fly. Don't get me started on Brexit. Oh, God, don't get me started, mate. Peter, Coventry would leave in the summer if did sign Phillips. Absolutely, he would. Epic Cash, anyone who thinks we'll sign world-class players in the summer is delusional, considering our lack of striker. Considering our lack of strike force, when you look at the stats, apart from games lost, we're still doing pretty well. Here we are. Informed Marlon here would be a beast in this team. Could you imagine that? West Ham 94th. I think it will get both because Noble leaves in the summer and Alex Kroll ain't David Moyes' player. Yep, you're right. Garino saying Epic Hashtag don't have to be a world class. Be happy with players like Bowen making a step up from the Championship. Key is getting players we need in right positions, no square pegs. Peter saying we are big, but we aren't massive. We'll get more players like Kroll and Vlasic. Isn't Areola our highest player on 138 yet? But I think you've got to take into consideration what the club, Paris Saint-Germain, are offering to pay for that. So I'm talking about full salaries going out to players, permanent players, Yarmolenko's. I don't know exactly, is it 110k a week? I believe he's on as well. Yep, Dean Ashton was many of our players' favourite players. Helen, a lot of Areola's wages will be offset by PSG while he's on loan, which he is. Can see Watkins moving from Villa in the summer. Absolutely, I can see that as well. What a good signing he would be. Leeds will do it at Leicester. They will have no dealings with West Ham after the club's antics in January. Cheers, guys. Didn't know that though. We were paying the whole lot of his wages. No, we were not. I would take some of them from Ukraine teams right now. Well, apparently, I mean, if you believe and you look at what Russ was talking about yesterday, there are a couple of players we are potentially interested in from Shakhtar Donetsk. So keep your eye on that market because you never know. A couple of players could be essentially coming in until the end of the season, but we'll see. I know, man, imagine a 6-foot monster fridge of a player getting a career-ending injury off a rapid midget with a famous... That's mental. Say, I love it, Toby, mate. Brilliant. If we're to have a real goal next season, we need to sign 2 actual strikers in the summer and move Antonio back to wide man position. So yeah, no, it would be absolutely huge. Under 23s are a second in the league, so don't think Moyes will disrupt it and maybe push them in for the new season. I think we're going to see a lot of them in pre-season, and only a select few maybe make the step up next season. And I don't think when I say step up, I don't think they'll probably be starting unless someone comes in, smashes, hits ground running. I'm all for giving players a chance at the right place in the right time as well, so we never know. We'll have to see it as well. Surely beating Sevilla will put us on the map in terms of signing players. I think really what Moyes is doing with West Ham should put us on the map of signing players. And I think as long as it's all backed up from the top through to the bottom, so the owners don't get involved and don't make us look stupid in the mainstream media, and Moyes is talking about building this kind of Red Bull model and young players and trying to keep West Ham fighting for that chance to stay at the top. You know, West Ham are sitting 13th right now. We wouldn't be talking about half the players we're talking about. So to be in the position we're in the quarterfinals of Europa League, to be 5th or 6th in the league, in the Premier League, and still trying to challenge that position, then we'll see what happens. Brad, why are we looking at Phillips when we clearly need a striker and centre back and possibly another defender? Listen, mate, we are going to be looking at those positions as well. It's been as clear as the eye can see that Moyes has said it. He has said it week in and week out. We do need a striker, but I'm not bringing someone in for the sake of it. He will have a list of players that he would like to potentially look at. I mean, we all thought that Origi would come and he didn't come. So we'll have to wait and see what happens moving forward with players in the summer. But I think we're going to strengthen in the summer, so I don't think we need to worry about that as such. Anyway, listen, everyone, that is the end of the daily today. I do need to leave because I've got work to do, so I need to get back to my desk and do some work. So this is my lunch break. I'm not even eating food for you. That's what we do for West Ham. I hope you have enjoyed the West Ham Daily. What do you think of potentially West Ham breaking a record transfer fee for a player of Kalvin Phillips? Is he needed? Is he not? Before I do go, just give me a simple yes and no. Kalvin Phillips, £50 million to West Ham. Would you have him? Yes or no? Get it in the comments and quickly let me know why. England international, boyhood Leeds player, good quality midfielder, but do we need a player of his caliber in it there as well? Toby Sampson saying, cheers, Anton, with the old muscles up. No worries, mate. Mark is saying players will take notice, got stability, not a yo-yo club, stadium top half, and look at some of the clubs we have beat: Sevilla, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. They will have noticed. Absolutely, they will have. Greeno, thank you very much for joining me. Bazuko is saying have a good rest of the day, everyone. And then what I'll do is when the video ends, I'll start putting up all the comments. So if you want Kalvin Phillips, let me know yes, no, and why, and I'll put them up. Stay safe, everyone. Like I said, if you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button. That does help our channel out. Stay safe and come on, you Irons.
like a family tree. Part of you and part of me. And if we should separate,